Hello beer tubers and welcome to a little showcase of beers from Pivovara Medvedgrad in Croatia. So Din was kind enough to send me a boatload of beer again out of the blue, so thanks a ton, man. I'm sorry for taking a while to get to them, but it's been a busy month of May and June and expecting twins very soon. There's a lot of other things that is needed to attend to, and yeah, I've had a bit of back catalog, whatever. Excuses, we're trying them. So thanks for the beers, man. This is Medvedgrad's Fantom series, and we got 29, 31, and 32. Fantom meaning it's a series of, or Fantom series meaning that it's a series of beer that they do test batches of only. So small batch beers that they test out and then show to the market to see if people like it. Before maybe turning them into a year-round beer like they did with apparently Kuss die Hand. So we're going to start off with the fruit beer, I think, because I have a feeling that's going to be the mildest of the bunch. So it's a fruited lager, a cold IPA, and a Schwarzbier. So the number 32 here is a fruited lager on 5.4%, 25 IBUs made with cherries or cherry juice. You said it was a concentrated cherry juice, so it's probably like cherry juice concentrate or cherry concentrate puree or something. That's very commonly used in brewing for making fruit beers. It's actually often from concentrate. It's mostly only wild ales that use whole fruits. I know there are some producers that also do it. Like I think, what are they called? God damn it, come on. Peter, you know, you've been talking to these guys in Iowa. Pulpit Rock. God damn it, man, so embarrassed. They used whole fruits in their kettle towers. But let's check this one out first. So it looks beautiful. It is blood red. Almost looks like a creek. And a pink head. Check out the aroma. And thanks to Dan for the beers. Very soft cherries. He actually mentioned he thought it was a little bit almost Oud Kriek-like. I do not think it's anywhere near an Oud Kriek, to be 100% honest. I think it's just for reference with the cherry flavors, but I think those two kind of beers are not comparable at all. Not to be a dick, bro, but yeah, do you know what? It smells like a bit like blandet rødsaft. That is... In Denmark, it's very common in the summer, well, year-round, especially for kids, that you serve them these concentrated sugar syrups. You pour in water and you have a soft drink. I think it's called a cordial in the UK. And the most common flavor is blandet rødsaft, which is just like mixed red flavor, which is kind of just red forest berries mostly. And that's what I'm getting. It really smells like saftevand. It does. Blandet rødsaft. Yeah, that's what I smell. Let's try it. Cheers. That's blandet rødsaft with øl. Wow, that was totally Danish. This is, I don't know. Is it like a radler almost? It's not a bad beer. It's not, it's quite all right. It's kind of fruity. I can see maybe when he compares to Oud Kriek, there's vibes towards Lindemann's Kriek, the sweetened one, but nowhere near as sweet, much more clean and dry. So maybe if that's the comparison, I kind of get it, but if you compare it to a real Kriek from the lambic producers like Driefonteinen or Cantillon or anyone for that matter, it doesn't even come close in terms of flavor profiles or compatibility, I think. Like a Skabik's Cherry Kriek, for example. But that is all right. It's like ho-hum to me. It tastes like you took this mixed cordial and you had a pretty good lager base. And I think the base for this one was the Slatini Medved, the Golden Bear, which was all right. Very easygoing Pilsner, and you can taste that as well. Adding this to it, you know, there's nothing that's like really sticks out like bitterness or anything. It's just quite easygoing and fruity, mainly just like this cherry, cordial cherry mixer type flavor. So yeah, the biggest comparison I can say is that if you took like a really easygoing lager and then you poured in a lot of this blandet rødsaft that we have in Denmark, that's the result. And that's not for me. That's just personal opinion. So maybe I shouldn't even rate it. I mean, I can drink it. It's all right. I would, like, if this was in the summer, I'd definitely drink a couple bottles if I was offered one. But it's just never something I'd seek out myself. That's what it is. That's how it is. Always honest, man. So let's move on to the cold IPA. This is more my jam, I think. This is 6.8%, 65 IBUs. I think this is going to be Westy Coasty. And these guys do these kind of beers really well. Hoppy, modernized lagers. I really like the Professor and Balthasar. So it's made with Lemon Drop Centennial, Mosaic Incognito, Citron, Lotus. Dude, what the hell? That sounds good. Let's check it out. Pours a crystal clear, almost golden yellow color. It looks kind of like a modern West Coast IPA, or cold IPA for that matter. Maybe just a little bit of Chill Haze Whitehead. Let's take out the aroma. Yeah, much more my jam. Grassy, citrusy, oily, resiny. There's definitely some old school kind of West Coast vibes to it. It's totally throwing me to having Medvedgrad's Professor and Balthasar, but with less malt and more hops. There is a slight oxidized hop nuance. I don't know if they pasteurized or something, or maybe it's just one of the hops. There's a Lotus I do not know too much about. And Lemon Drop I haven't had a lot either, but there is something that is a bit like black tea. And when I get nuances of black tea in IPAs, it's often because it's, you know, age. But when I got this was 5 weeks in the bottle, so maybe that's a bit on me. No, it's not been that long since I got it, has it? There's just this aroma that reminds me when you got IPAs from the States back in the day. And it's like, oh yeah, it's got this tea leafy, hoppy thing. And it's like, that's actually because it's not fresh. And I think it's mainly also due to hot side hops. I never really get it from beers with with cold whirlpools and loads of dry hop. They just get really mellow. But with the beers that have a lot of hot side additions, you get that a bit. So it smells quite old school, but I've rambled enough. It's like slightly pineapple-y, slightly grapefruity. It's almost got lemongrass sing to it. Definitely Lemon Drop. I'm guessing that's giving like that nuance to it. And also like, yeah, lemon candy, lemon verbena. Very lemony and zesty. Smells good. Smells West Coast. Let's try it. Cheers. First sip, I could already tell you like, yeah, this is my jam. Oh, this is really good. It's like, it's actually 65 IBUs. The bitterness is not like building. It almost reminds me a bit of Sriracha Ace. Like the Japanese hop that was like really lemongrassy and dill-like. There's a bit of that in here. That's pretty good. It's more modern than their Balthasar and Professor, which I think is pretty good. It has a sweeter malt body. It's not like bone dry. I don't know how this finished in terms of gravity. They have a lot of stuff on here. The original gravity was 15.2 Plato. It's not that crazy high, 6.8%. It must have fermented down into like 2 point something. But you really sometimes get fooled with hop flavor in beers like this. Hops can have lots of sweet fruit flavor, and then like that make you think that the beer is less dry and bitter than it actually is. A lot of things with beer is perception with your palate and taste buds and brain. This is good. Lemongrass, citrus, grapefruit, pithy nuances. Very pithy, lemony. Yeah, it has a slightly oriental twist. This would be so great to pair with a Thai curry. I think that would be a match made in heaven. This is really nice. I think so. They're doing these kind of beers really well. It's like old world meets new world. I'd love to see this like supercharged with hops even more, and more cold side hops. That's quite nice. So let's jump on to the final one, which is the Schwarzbier, 5.1%, 23 IBUs, 12.5 Plato. So my biggest critique with the Schwarzbier and the Doppelbock I did from them was that they were a little bit too sweet for me. And I'm hoping this is going to be better. He said that this is better and people love it, and it seems like a more, just higher quality version of their regular Schwarzbier. And that sounds nice to me. I mean, he said he's not sure if they're going to produce this or make this the new Schwarzbier they do, because he thinks it's too expensive to make. But really, like, malty lagers are not that expensive to make. At least from what I know. Unless you charge it with hops or something, or use some kind of rare ingredient. I don't know. But it's black, like a Schwarzbier should be, and it's got a tan head. Let's check it out. Yeah, that smells much better. Toasty, charry, burnt notes, burnt, almost like burnt bread. Slightly ashy, actually. Yeah, like a charry, roasty profile. I really like that. Like, I love it when Schwarzbiers have that. It's like, it should be kind of like a Pilsner, but like kind of roasty, like a stout or something. And I actually also don't mind if they're hoppy as well, like roasted hoppy. That's really nice. But yeah, charry, roasty, burnt breadiness. Let's try it. Cheers. So this is not sweet at all. This is quite dry. Slightly watery. It's not like that full bodied. I could use a little bit more body, but I like that it's drier. So this is Tradition hops. The first one was, it doesn't matter too much. Sass, Golding, and Aurora. And all of them are lagers, of course. But this is pretty nice. Would have been maybe a bit, I mean, it's totally true to style. Really true to style, really balanced. Charry, toasty, that ashy note. Almost burnt woodiness, burnt bread. Maybe a hint of toffee, hint of coffee. Like a really watery coffee. Like a coffee where you use way too much water in it. And a toasty, dry, like almost like the lager version to some extent of an Irish dry stout, because it's so clean as well. Or like uber light Baltic porter, because you get that clean flavor from the lager yeast. That's pretty nice. That's definitely something I could see myself drinking a couple bottles of. Those two are definitely my favorites. I think the other one, it gets a bit too like soft drink like for me. So yeah, in terms of grades, let's jump back here. It's not the worst thing I ever drunk, but I'm just not that into it. It's, I don't know. It's just not for me. Maybe a straight 80, 78, in that range, 78, 80, maybe 79. I mean, it's okay. I could definitely drink some bottles. I'm just not a fan. The IPA, I think it's a bit my own fault. But I think if I drank this fresher, I would like it more. I also just want a bit more hoppy flavor to it. So it's a bit my own fault. So take it with a bit of a grain of salt. And I think maybe I preferred the Professor a little bit more than this. The Professor. But it's nice. It's like 88 or something. They are very clean and slightly clinical to some extent as well. Like, I don't want to say that they're macro necessarily, but I think they have that really intense, clean, like clinically clean flavor. And sometimes I like something a bit more rustic. But I think they do the hoppy beers quite well. I think they are very comparable to, if we should compare it to some small Danish breweries. I don't know. I think your small town kind of craft brewery that is of a regional size. Like, they make some really nice beers, but they're never going to probably make the beers that go, like, where they go nuts and they do double dry hopping and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe an 88, 89 on the IPA, quite close to a 90, and then an 85 for the Schwarzbier. 87 maybe even. It's pretty good. So yeah, if you guys had a chance to try the Fantom series by Medvedgrad, let me know. These were fun to try. We got 2 more Medvedgrad beers that he sent. A Hendrix Lager, which just Michael loved. It's only 3.8%, and another lager. I can't remember the name. It's got a crocodile on the label, and then some Croatian other lagers that I think we'll mesh up in one video. But it's been a long one, so let's cut it short here. Thanks a ton for watching, guys. Thanks a ton to Dan for the beers, and as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell wherever it is for future notifications about videos. And I'm gonna say cheers in my favorite, the cold IPA, and see you guys in another beer review.